Last week here on Thursday Night Thunder, as we kicked off the June season, it came down to two Outlaw Motorsports teammates, Timothy Cantwell and bounty hunter Jalen Buford, USA 1, and it was Buford getting into Cantwell at the finish line, turning him over, but nonetheless, Bounty Hunter took on the checkered flag for a record fourth time, and Timothy Cantwell and Bounty Hunter is the man to beat here tonight. Is he going to be able to keep that checkered flag flying high over Bounty Hunter? We're going to find out next.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to week 2 of the June season, and we are dialed in here tonight. We have got 16 of MTA's baddest monster trucks ready to go head-to-head in side-by-side racing competition. Like we just told you before, Bounty Hunter is the truck to beat tonight, but he's got other Outlaw teammates gunning for him as well. The track here tonight is going to be super fast, and it's going to be up to these drivers to hold on to their trucks to get across the finish line first. There you see the cowboy from hell with that checkered flag on the back of his truck. He's looking to hold on to it here tonight to kick off the second week of the June season. Looking at round 1 matchups, the Outlaw Machine is going to take on Excalibur, followed by Blue Thunder taking on Dragonoid. Then Black Stallion's going to take on Avenger, and to close out the first half of round 1, last week's finalist USA 1 taking on High Roller. Now up first, we have got Johnny Retlaw, the 2021 Revenge Champion in the Excalibur Chevrolet. He now draws up against Jamie Hurd, one of the most consistent drivers out here that has not won a championship thus far. But the big Ford out of Tonganoxie, Kansas, looks strong in qualifying. He's ready to knock off the bad bow tie here in the near lane. Johnny Retlaw in Excalibur. Ford versus Chevrolet to kick off week 2 of the June season. Who's going on to round 2? Stage now. Here's the green light down the straight stretch to go. They're hanging dead even up through no man's land, and Jamie Hurd will pull it out in the end. And Iron Outlaw, he puts the bad bow tie on the trailer early here tonight. We're going to see that big primer grade Ford back in action for round 2. And Jamie Hurd's looking strong in the Iron Outlaw Machine there in the far lane. Now next up in round 1, Charlie Stevens, a one-time Thunder champion, the rookie making a big name for himself in Blue Thunder. Now set to take on Sky High Racing team owner Aaron Church. Bakugan Dragonoid over there in the far lane. He did fairly well at the Maximum Carnage event, and as well as Injustice for All. He wants to carry that momentum right here tonight in the Thursday Night Thunder, but Charlie Stevens in Blue Thunder isn't backing down. Here's the green light now. Whole shot goes to Dragonoid down the straight stretch, up and over the cars, and Stevens came back on him. Dragonoid took a hard right there across the Jersey wall. Not too sure what happened to Aaron Church and Dragonoid. Nonetheless, Blue Thunder is your winner. The Ford moves on to round 2. Now, next up in round 1 action, the 1957 Chevy Bel Air driven by Cam Blank and Avenger ready to take on Joey Andrews, Paul Heyman, in the Black Stallion Ford out of Hagerstown, Maryland, representing K&J Motorsports. He is ready to go look strong. Last week when we kicked off the June season, Black Stallion is here to play tonight. Avenger, the rookie, in the far lane, he wants to make a name for himself. He wants to put the bow tie on top over the Ford here in round 1 action. Avenger takes on Black Stallion here in round 1. Who's going to round 2? There's the green light down the straight stretch. They're even up through no man's land, and Joey Andrews putting the hammer down, turns it over across the finish line. Quite couldn't come up with it. Rocked up and rolled over on him, but he let all that Ford horsepower from K&J Motorsports out, flying high across no man's land. Now the MTA track crew and officials are down there to roll the truck back over. I don't think he hurt it too bad. He kind of landed a little bit awkward. Couldn't come up with a save. The momentum almost carried him back over. Nonetheless, Avenger didn't make it across the finish line. Hopefully he'll be back next week stronger than ever. And next up in round 1, Jalen Buford, last week's finalist and this year's Monster Mania 3 champion out of Outlaw Motorsports in that bad bow tie. The USA 1 Chevrolet staged over here in the far lane. He is ready to take on another newcomer. He's raced out here one season before. This is Tyler Fugate in the High Roller Ford, staged over here in the near lane. The truck looked strong last week. He wants to put last week's finalist on the trailer here tonight. Ford versus Chevrolet. Here's the green light now, and USA 1 got him up the line. Fugate and High Roller trying to come back and almost does. but Jalen Buford and the USA 1 held him off there all the way across the finish line. USA 1 is your winner. And now as we go back and take a look at the MTA photo finish to show you just how close it was, nearly half a truck, Tyler Fugate was starting to close the door on the old USA 1. Now next up here in round 1 action, 11-time, did I say that right? 11-time Thursday Night Thunder champion, Rich Wagner in the Wild Hair Chevrolet back at the line. He is now set to take on Nathan Smith, who is making a pretty big name for himself out here. He's been out here many times before. He's trying to put Monster Mutt and Team Dog Pound on top here tonight, but he has got to take out the old-time veteran and the first ever Thursday Night Thunder champion, Rich Wagner in Wild Hair. Far lane now. Here's the green light. Wagner got the whole shot. The Mutt's trying to come back on him now across the last set of cars, and Rich Wagner in Wild Hair puts Monster Mutt on the trailer early tonight in round 1. But Nathan Smith was making a run for him. Both trucks laying down a bad fast pass, but Rich Wagner, Wild Hair, gets the round 1 win. And next up in round 1, Outlaw Motorsports' newest driver, Rudy Ziligy, who looked wicked fast last week in the brand new Rage Machine. He is now set to take on the Dog Pound team leader, Matthew Riley, Monster Mutt Husky, and not to mention the 2020 Summer Heat Shootout champion. He's looking to bring home his first ever Thursday Night Thunder championship, but he's got to go through Rage to do it right here tonight. In week 2 of the June season, who's going on to round 2? Husky and Rage. Here's the green light now down the straight stretch. Husky's got a lead on him, but Rudy Ziligy coming back on him in the end. What an incredible race. Both trucks were out of shape. The Huskies upside down. Rudy Ziligy letting it all hang out across that last set of cars. What an incredible race here, ladies and gentlemen. Matthew Riley turtles the truck there at the shutdown area. Let's go back and take a look at an MTA replay. Watch him right here off the line. It was the Husky that jumped Rage off the line right there down the straight stretch. Watch Rudy Ziligy pull the trigger right here in Rage, trying to come up with the victory. Gets a little out of shape and drives out of it. What an incredible pass there by Rudy Ziligy in Rage. He moves on to round 2 action. And next up, Justin Lamb in Midnight Rider. He looked strong last week. He is now set to take on Mike Canzoneri at a Diggers Diecast race team in the 40th anniversary. Gravedigger, the 1950 Chevy panel wagon out of Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, lost out in round 1 last week, looking to make up for it this week. Justin Lamb, Midnight Rider, the former driver for Outlaw Motorsports. He's making a big name for himself after last week's performance. Who's going to round 2? Down the straight stretch now. There's the green light. They're hanging even. Up and over no man's land here. And Midnight Rider turns it over. Mike Canzoneri and Gravedigger is your winner here in round 1. Midnight Rider's on the trailer. Justin Lamb lost it right there in no man's land. And Mike Canzoneri, 40 years of being bad to the bone in Gravedigger, he will pick up the round 1 victory. And now the MTA track crew and officials are down there with Midnight Rider. Justin Lamb still strapped into the seat. The dozer's about to roll him back over, and hopefully he didn't hurt the truck too bad trying to chase down the old Gravedigger as they get him back on all 4 tires here. Rolling him back over. Looks like he's trying to start the truck up early here. As he nudges it forward here a little bit, we're going to just see, and looks like the right front tire has snapped off in the Midnight Rider. They got a little bit of work to do to come back for week 3 of the June season. Now next up to close out round 1 action, the Iceman, Jeffrey Skipper, former 6-time Thunder champion in the brand new Air Force monster truck. He is now set to take on the Cowboy from Hell, Timothy Cantwell and Bounty Hunter, representing Outlaw Motorsports, and oh, should I mention, his 4th Thursday Night Thunder Championship, the Bounty Hunter Ford out of Tonganoxie, Kansas, and he's looking to take on the Iceman, who has got this championship victory 6 times, but now he drives a brand new truck. Who's it going to be? Bounty Hunter and the U.S. Air Force down the straight stretch. They're dead even. Up and over no man's land here. Bounty Hunter's in trouble. And the Iceman, Jeffrey Skipper, in the brand new Air Force monster truck will knock off the current Thunder champion. Timothy Cantwell is playing turtle in the far lane. That is the 4th time the truck has rolled over this June season, and the checkered flag will move on. And if I'm not mistaken, it looks like Cantwell's been hanging out with old Shaggy too long because he can't seem to keep that truck on all 4 tires. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, that'll wrap up round 1 action. We've got a lot more great racing yet to come for round 2 and beyond. Hope you guys are enjoying the show so far, and we'll be right back with week 2 of the June season right after the break. What's going on, MTA fans? If you're looking to get in on the action right here on the MTA YouTube channel, look no further. I'm about to tell you guys just how you can sign up to get in one of these races. Head over to the link in our description, and that's going to take you right over to our Facebook page where we hold registration for all of the MTA events. And hey, while you're there, crush that subscribe button. Be sure to turn on the notification bell so you stay up to date with everything that MTA is doing. From new custom truck builds to special events and giveaways, you don't want to miss any of the great action MTA has to offer. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and I'll catch you guys down the road. Back here on Thursday Night Thunder with round 2 action, but first we're heading down to the pits of the Midnight Rider as they broke off the right front tire, trying to chase down the old Gravedigger there in round 1, and not to mention the current Thursday Night Thunder champion, Timothy Cantwell and Bounty Hunter. Looks like he busted up a rear end housing when he landed in no man's land, and that's what caused him to turn the truck over. But nonetheless, we crown a new champion here tonight as we kick off round 2 of week 2 of the June season here on Thunder. And up first in round 2, Iron Outlaw will take on Blue Thunder. Black Stallion takes on USA 1. Wild Hair takes on Rage, and then Gravedigger will take on the brand new Air Force monster truck driven by Jeffrey Skipper, who knocked off the current champion. And up first, we've got Iron Outlaw driven by Jamie Hurd out of Tonganoxie, Kansas. That truck looked wicked fast in round 1. He is now set to take on newcomer Charlie Stevens in the Blue Thunder machine staged over in the far lane. He's already managed to rack up 1 Thursday Night Thunder championship. He's looking for 2, but he's got to knock off Iron Outlaw here in round 2. And Jamie Hurd is on a mission to get his first Thursday Night Thunder championship. 2 Fords going to kick off round 2 action here on Thursday Night Thunder. Who's going on to semifinal competition? Blue Thunder and Iron Outlaw down the straight stretch now. They're hanging even through no man's land here, and we got a race. And Blue Thunder may have just passed the Iron Outlaw Ford in the near lane. He may have just picked up his win here in round 2 on Thunder. We're going to go back and take a look at an MTA photo finish. I do believe Hurd lost it there before the shutdown area. And yes, there you see it. Charlie Stevens and Blue Thunder is your winner, moving on to semis. Next up here in round 2, Jalen Buford and the USA 1 Chevrolet, representing Outlaw Motorsports, now set to take on Joey Andrews out of K&J Motorsports, and the Black Stallion Ford out of Hagerstown, Maryland. Looked strong in round 1, turned the truck over. When he got back to the pits, the crew was quick to get on anything they had to do to make that truck at 100% to come back and compete against Outlaw Motorsports and the USA 1 Chevrolet. Who's going to semis? There's the green light. They're even down the straight stretch now, up and over no man's land, and we got a race here, but Joey Andrews trying to shut it down and gets in the monstrum up there at the wall. He will get the win over the USA 1 Chevrolet. It wasn't by much, but Black Stallion does move on in the semifinal competition. And now next up in round 2, 11-time Thunder champion Rich Wagner in the Wild Hair Chevrolet, now set to take on newcomers to the scene, Rudy Zilligy and Rage. He had an incredible save there in round 1 action. He's looking to knock off the old-time veteran Rich Wagner in Wild Hair, who is staged over here in the near lane, but Wagner is looking for his record 12th Thursday Night Thunder championship. He's going to knock off the old rookie here in the far lane. Who's going on to semifinal competition? Rage taking on Wild Hair. Here's the green light now down the straight stretch. They're hanging even up and over no man's land here, and whoa, what a race it is. Both of them shutting it down there in the end. Rudy Zilligy was giving the old veteran a hard time the whole way, but it looked like Wild Hair may have barely edged out the Rage machine in the near lane. Let's go on back and take a look at an MTA replay. The rookie giving the veteran a run for his money down the straight stretch now. Both trucks cut a great light. Look here as they cross over no man's land. Rich Wagner pulls the trigger in Wild Hair up and over the finish line. You're right there. And Rich Wagner and Wild Hair pick up the win over Rage. What an awesome race there. Give Rudy Zilligy his credit, but next up, Mike Canzoneri brings the Gravedigger back to the line. He is now set to take on the Iceman, Jeffrey Skipper, in the Air Force monster truck stage over there in the far lane. He knocked off the current Thunder champion earlier tonight in round 1. He wants to knock off the old Chevy panel wagon stage over here in the near lane. Mike Canzoneri and Gravedigger. Who's going on a semifinal competition? There's a green light now down the straight stretch. They go. Air Force with the slight lead. Gravedigger's trying to come back on him, and Skipper pulls it out in the end. He knocks off the Gravedigger here in round 2. Jeffrey Skipper, the Iceman, in the Air Force monster truck in the far lane. Knocks off the Gravedigger. Look how close it was as we look at a photo finish. Wasn't by too much. Almost a full truck length, but Canzonnery was hanging right there with the Air Force. But now we move on to semifinal competition of Thunder Week 2 of the June season. And looking at our matchups, Blue Thunder takes on Black Stallion. Then Rich Wagner and Wildhair will take on the Iceman, Jeffrey Skipper in Air Force. And up first in semifinal competition, Joey Andrews out of K&J Motorsports, the Black Stallion Ford looking strong. He is ready to take on newcomer to the scene, Charlie Stevens, a former one-time Thunder champion. He carried the checkered flag from the May season into the June season. He wants that flag back. Blue Thunder is ready to go in the near lane. Black Stallion's ready to go in the far lane. One of these Fords is going to the finals. Who's it going to be? Both trucks are staged at the line. Here's the green light now. Down the straight stretch they go. Hanging fairly even through no man's land here. And Joey Andrews may have pulled it out in the end. Charlie Stevens laying down a bad fast pass, and Blue Thunder in the near lane. And Joey Andrews may have just gotten the job done for K&J Motorsports. He is on his way to victory number 1 as we go back and look at the replay. Down the straight stretch they come. They're hanging door handle to door handle. Watch right here through no man's land. Still fairly even to the first stack of cars. Right here to the finish line. Your winner, Joey Andrews and Black Stallion. He will find himself in the finals, but the question is, who's he going to meet there? Rich Wagner and Wildhair coming back to the line. 11-time Thunder champion. Now set to take on a former 6-time Thunder champion, Jeffrey Skipper, the Iceman. Again, he knocked off the current champion in round 1 action, but Rich Wagner is a huge threat to Jeffrey Skipper as he's won this championship 11 times. Who's going on to the finals? This one ought to be a great race. Ford and Chevrolet now down the straight stretch. Wagner's got a lead on him. Iceman's got his hands full. And Rich Wagner making easy work of the Iceman there in the near lane. He will find himself in the finals against Black Stallion, but give Jeffrey Skipper his credit. He was hanging right there with the veteran. And ladies and gentlemen, we have got the finals coming up next. Rich Wagner and Wildhair, the Chevrolet's looking strong, taking on Joey Andrews and Black Stallion. And before we get to the finals, I want to remind you guys that June 25th, we are going to have the wild card event right here on the MTA YouTube channel, 32 trucks, 1 champion. But now, it's final time of week 2 of the June season, and it's going to be 11-time Thunder champion, Rich Wagner and Wildhair. He's looking for victory number 12. He is now set to take on Joey Andrews out of K&J Motorsports and the Black Stallion Ford out of Hagerstown, Maryland. He is looking for victory number 1. It's been quite some time since Rich Wagner and Wildhair has picked up a win out here on Thunder. He wants to put the bad bow tie on top for a record 12th championship. Again, Joey Andrews looking for victory number 1. He's got a great team behind him with K&J Motorsports. Ford versus Chevrolet, Wildhair versus Black Stallion. It's showtime here on Thunder down the straight stretch. They're even up and over no man's land. Joey Andrews puts it on the rear, and Rich Wagner for a record 12th time gets the win in the Wildhair Chevrolet, and Joey Andrews sets it on the rear end to end out week 2 of the June season. Let's go back and take a look right here coming off the line. It looked like Joey Andrews had a slight lead on Rich Wagner and Wildhair. Flying high through no man's land. Andrews had the race won, kind of bobbled up on that last set of cars, stuck it on the tailgate, and Rich Wagner went across the finish line in the bad bow tie Wildhair. And ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to congratulate Rich Wagner and Wildhair on your 12th Thursday Night Thunder Championship. You carry the checkered flag into week 3 of the June season. And now as we look at the overall point standings as we close out week 2 of the June season, Avenger, Monster Mutt, Dragonoid, and Excalibur hold the latter half of the bracket closed with 60 points. Those guys are going to have to tighten up to go after the points championship. Over at the top half of the bracket, the biggest improvement tonight with the win, Rich Wagner and Wildhair jumping up to second place with 90 points. But Tim Cantwell and the Bounty Hunter still has the overall lead with 90 points as well. It's going to be a shootout all season long. Third place and fourth place belong to USA 1 and Black Stallion with 85 points. And ladies and gentlemen, that'll wrap up week 2 of the June season right here on Thursday Night Thunder. We hope you guys enjoyed the show. Be sure if you haven't already, crush that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys down the road. See you next week.
Standing tall up in victory lane, I done brought the pain and now they screaming my name, yeah.
Everybody saw me rock the place. Now there's flashbulbs are popping and mics in my face. Always giving the crowd what they need. Now they're wearing my shirts front row to nosebleed. Now the crowd forms is what it's all about. Signing autographs until the lights out. Yeah, it's about that. It's about that.
It's been a long time.
It's about that time. It's about that. Cause it's about that.
It's been a long time.